Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. For more than half a century, Hollywood liberals and America's foreign policy establishment eyed each other with suspicion. From Vietnam to Iraq, actors were often the harshest critics of whatever wars Washington was pushing at the time. A lot has changed, though. The rise of Donald Trump has caused elites from across the spectrum to realize they've got a lot more in common with each other than they do with the American middle class. Suddenly, liberals in L.A. are warming to the idea of pointless foreign wars. Rob Reiner is an actor, a director, a liberal. He now has a group designed to investigate Russian interference in the last election. He's joined forces with all kinds of pro-war conservatives in Washington. Here's their latest ad. Listen carefully.
We have been attacked. We are at war. The free world is counting on us for leadership. For 241 years, our democracy has been a shining example to the world of what we can all aspire to. And we owe it to the brave people who have fought and died to protect this great nation and save democracy. And we owe it to our future generations to continue the fight.
So there's Morgan Freeman working for Rob Reiner in league with longtime war enthusiasts in Washington like David Frum and Max Boot, telling us we're at war. So when does the bombing start exactly? We sat down with Rob Reiner to ask him that question. Watch. So we're at war. How would you respond if President Trump took you seriously and sent the B-52s to St. Petersburg or blockaded the Gulf of Finland? How would you support that?
No. Well, when we say we're at war, we're talking about a cyber war.
It doesn't make that clear. It just says we're Morgan Freeman, who everyone trusts, his voice, evokes immediate trust in everyone. We're at war. So, but you don't really believe we're at war. Why are you saying it then?
Well, because if you watch the entire video, it talks about cyber warfare. It talks about how he was able to use, the internet and cyber tools to attack the democracy, which is what they did.
But shouldn't you say somewhere in there, we're not really at war? I mean, we're just kind of taking creative license. We're just trying to get you all pumped up. But it's not really war. Like, we shouldn't respond as you would as if you're in a war. Why not just say that so you don't confuse people?
Well, I'd say if you watch the whole video,
I did.
You wouldn't be confused about it. I mean, the thing that I've always felt is that, people don't really understand the capacity for cyber warfare beyond the obvious stuff of, hacking into people's computers or using the internet. Facebook, we now find out, that they were using Facebook to push out certain kind of propaganda. Propaganda's been around forever. I mean, from Leni Riefenstahl on. So we've had plenty of propaganda.
Oh, I've noticed.
Right. but the point is that beyond the propaganda, there are other aspects to cyber warfare that have been used. We've used it. The Russians have used it. And we have to make people aware of the capacity of this cyber warfare beyond sowing distrust and confusion in democratic societies.
Right. I mean, a couple of things. First, you've allied yourself with people like Max Boot and David Frum, who have long advocated for real wars, hot wars. Both of them were big advocates of the war in Iraq, predicated on the idea that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. I think you made a movie, actually, on that subject that's coming out later this month, taking the other side. But are you a little bit concerned you've wound up linked to people who are advocating and have over decades a series of actual wars where people die? Are you comfortable with that?
Well, we have people from on all sides. I mean, there's Norm Ornstein. We have James Clapper, who is the director of national intelligence, and there are many supporters. Norman Lear is a supporter. We have liberals and hawks and doves, as you say, on both sides. So we're not advocating going to war or going to a traditional war with Russia, but we are already in a cyber war with them. And,
right.
and if people want to turn their heads away from that, it's at their own peril. The point I'd like to make, and this is really important for people to understand, because this really doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump. Trust me, because Donald Trump, whatever happens to him is going to happen to him. I mean, there are already investigations. Mueller's going to find what he finds. The House and Senate have their own investigations. They'll find whatever they find. But beyond that, we've been invaded in a certain way. And the thing that has been so upsetting to me, and I don't know how old you are, Tucker, but, you know, I can remember when I had to hide under a desk during the Cold War in the 50s because we were worried that we were going to get attacked, you know, by a nuclear bomb. And whenever the country has been attacked in one way or another, whether it was Pearl Harbor or 9/11, we've always come together as a country to defend ourselves against foreign enemies, you know. And this is the first time, because I think we're so divided as a country, and we know we are.
Well, but maybe here's part of the reason. No, but here's maybe part of the reason, because it's so. Perhaps this is. I agree with you. We are very divided, and maybe this is one of the reasons. A lot of this is deeply disingenuous. Anyone who looks at cyber warfare will tell you, any honest person will say, the Chinese military is the primary culprit in the United States. Hacked into the White House not that long ago, into the computer system there, into almost every federal agency. Nobody said anything. You guys in Hollywood sell your movies in China. You bow to the imperatives of their propaganda and censorship office. You change your movies to suit them. And yet no one says we're at war with China, and I wonder why. So you're sucking up to this regime that has actually broken in and stolen industrial and military secrets that hurt this country. You say nothing until Hillary Clinton loses, and all of a sudden we're at war with Russia. Can you see why some of us are saying, well, wait a second, Rob Reiner, where were you with China? Why are you selling your movies over there? Fair question?
I'm not giving China a free pass here.
Well, of course you are. Well, I mean, of course you guys. You guys in Hollywood sell your movies there, and you allow their censorship office to change your movies in order to make money.
Yeah,
so
well, I don't personally do that because I don't.
Come on, everybody who sells a movie in China does that. You know it. I mean, let's stop. You know what I mean? Kind of BSing a little bit. I mean, that's real, right? Yeah,
but you know, here's the difference. The difference, Tucker, is that you know the Chinese have done some stuff. We've done stuff. We've done stuff way worse too. And every side
so you
does
can't really
it.
judge, but we're going to judge Russia because why? Okay, but I'm just saying, like, this doesn't make sense.
Not letting me make a point here.
Go ahead.
You're not really. You know, we know about Stuxnet. We know the capacity for cyber warfare. It's not just about hacking into computers and stealing information. It's about using that information and weaponizing it in some way. Now, you can weaponize it in propaganda, which it has been done in this way, or it can be actually weaponized in a physical way to disrupt power plants, water supplies, and so on.
Right.
The Russians have done that in the Ukraine. Like I say, Stuxnet, we did that in Iran. This is not a surprise. The point is, we're now at this point where we have to understand the capacity here so that we can put in place the kinds of measures we need
very quickly.
to defend ourselves and protect ourselves.
You didn't. I agree with everything you just said. I let you explain.
I love that you agreed with that.
You didn't answer my question, which is...
What was the question?
The question is, if China is a bigger violator in the United States than Russia, and I think everyone agrees that it is, why are they not in your movie?
Well, but China has not insinuated themselves directly into our democratic process, into our election.
Are you being serious? Of course they have. I mean, they've stolen information directly from the U.S. government. From our political figures, from the Pentagon, from CIA, from the White House. If they're not in our political system, then I don't understand what the definition is.
I didn't say that they weren't in the political system. Of course they are. What I'm saying is they didn't utilize that material to try to affect an election in some way.
I get it. Okay, so you can see why maybe some of us are a little bit skeptical. Maybe you're not selling as many movies in Russia as you are in China. Anyway, whatever. Good luck with David Frum and Max Boot. Good to see you, Rob. Thank you.
Nice to see you.